Thanks to NIU for sponsoring a portion of this video. I just got back from a trip to Hollywood where I met with LG, took a closer look at the G3 and C3 OLED TVs, toured Disney's production studios. I even met and spoke with the lady who did the color and HDR mastering on the movie Black Panther. And man, I'll say this for LG, they are coming into the ring swinging hard this year. But will their best TV come out on top? Welcome back, everyone. I'm Caleb Dennison, and I want to talk a little bit about where I think the LG G3 OLED and, by extension, the C3 OLED are going to rank among competing 2023 TVs. I mean, it's my prediction that the front runners in the race for the best TV of 2023, in terms of pure picture quality anyway, are the Sony A95L, the Samsung S95C, and the LG G3, all OLEDs, 2 new QD OLED models, and 1 new W-OLED model, all of them sporting new technology, promising the best consumer level TVs that we've seen yet. But there's also this story about how LG is making moves to become something of a studio standard among the hottest Hollywood filmmakers, and I think we should have a little discussion around burn-in too, because that's making headlines, and I definitely need to weigh in on that little matter. So get comfortable and get ready to get up to speed on the latest in what's happening with premium TVs right now. And if you like that kind of content, the kind of content that you'll get here first, let us know with some friendly clicks in the appropriate clickable areas. And as always, I've got a question for you that I'm hoping you'll answer in the comments later. And fair warning, this video is kind of for my Knit Nerd family, so we're gonna do some deeper dives around the best TVs. So enjoy that, but also please show your support so I know videos like this are worth doing more of. Okay, let's talk about this hot new TV stuff. So first of all, this event I attended could not have been more perfectly timed for LG, right? LG does one of these just about every year, okay? They call it a reviewer's workshop, and they invite a group of folks that will be reviewing their TVs in to get some FaceTime with some engineers, see the TVs up close for a minute, and hear about the new technologies at play and how they work. It's also a time that LG will take to talk about why it thinks its products are the best. There's definitely some chest beating going on. And to that end, this particular workshop had a lineup of the LG G3 against the best TVs of 2022, the LG G2, the Samsung S95B, and the Sony A95K. Both of the latter two are QD OLEDs, and I'll get into what that comparison looked like in just a moment. But first, let's talk about how LG took early results from Ratings.com's ongoing OLED burn-in test and use them to their absolute maximum advantage. So these results were posted by Ratings.com in early February. And according to the folks that I spoke to at Ratings, that's where LG Display got them, not from Ratings.com themselves. Now, these early test results, without any additional context from Ratings provided, show the LG G2 with no signs of burn-in, while both the Samsung S95B and Sony A95K QD OLEDs already showed some sign of image retention. And apparently LG had enough time to craft a whole presentation based on those images/results, which is quite a stroke of luck for LG. I was gonna say that LG could not have planned this any better, but they did have enough time to put together a full-on PowerPoint presentation and talk all about it, so perhaps they planned it just fine. And I mean, can you blame them for trying? Here's LG, who for 10 years has been on the receiving end of Samsung's shade about how LG OLEDs have high burn-in risk, and that's just one of many reasons that QLEDs are superior TVs. But then Samsung comes out with its own OLED TV, which was a bold move after trash-talking OLED for so long. And LG ends up showing up with no perceivable burn-in on early results of this test that Ratings.com is doing, while both the S95B and Sony's A95K QD OLEDs using Samsung Display's panel are indeed showing some signs of burn-in. I mean, I get why LG wanted to slap Samsung around a bit after taking body shots for 10 years straight, but I think the takeaway here should be that LG's latest W-OLEDs already had low risk of burn-in or image retention in the first place. This test proves, under controlled testing conditions, what we kind of already gathered from extremely low rates of burn-in reports on LG OLEDs. But it also appears to confirm that QD OLED in its very first generation is not immune to burn-in, though I still think the risk is relatively low. Look, I'll just repeat what I've been saying for the past few years. If you watch CNN, ESPN, Fox News, or whatever all day, every day, don't get an OLED. It's a waste of your money and not the right TV for your viewing habits. Upon which I place no judgment, by the way. You do you. It's just you don't need OLED for all-day news. So looking at these early test results, is LG's W-OLED's resistance to image retention alone proof that it is vastly superior to QD OLED? No, it is not. And I'm not even convinced it says all that much about QD OLED's longevity as a technology. It's just way too early to be making any serious calls there. But at this point in the trip, LG was just getting started with talking up W-OLED technology and the TVs in which it's used, more specifically, how W-OLED is actually better than QD OLED in key ways. See, during its presentation, LG showed the G3 exhibiting better low luminance color, which was an interesting move because one of QD OLED's claims to superiority is that it offers better high luminance or high brightness color. So kind of a tit for tat thing maybe? And on top of that, as the demo reels ran over and over, it was super clear that the G3 had higher overall perceived brightness, scene by scene, than the G2 or either of the QD OLEDs, which admittedly were the first gen versions of QD OLED panels, not the new hotness that's coming out this year. Which is where I have to step aside and add that according to LG, each of the TVs was in its out-of-box filmmaker mode or equivalent picture mode on each TV with no calibration done at all. And while I can appreciate making comparison based on out-of-box presets, I know that to get the best out of the QD OLED TVs, you definitely have to address the 2-point white balance at the very least. Plus, if they had actually used the latest version of QD OLED, the new 2023 version with higher brightness, higher efficiency panels, that could have kept the G3 from looking so dramatically brighter. Anyway, even though each TV wasn't optimized, the G3 was clearly brighter. And that comes down to the use of a white subpixel, which can function independently of the subpixel that it uses to achieve color. It's like a brightness booster of sorts, and while it can't help keep colors pure at high brightness levels, it does raise overall brightness considerably. Which brings us inexorably to a point that keeps coming up for me. If LG's goal is to impress its customers, not necessarily video professionals and calibration wizards with measurement tools, then it is definitely on the right track right now, because most viewers can easily see high brightness and high contrast, but it is really hard to tell with the naked eye whether color purity is being maintained at high brightness levels. So for the average viewer, I think the G3 is just gonna look awesome, period. And that's likely to sell a lot of TVs. However, LG isn't just trying to capture consumer dollars. It's out there capturing the capital of professionals as well. I've heard them talk about this before, but on this particular trip, they showed us. Guys, I want to take a moment to tell you about the new C3 Pro e-bike I've been riding for a few weeks. It has been a blast and far exceeded my expectations with features I didn't even know I was looking for. If you aren't already familiar with NIU, you will be. It's been in the two-wheeled EV game since 2014 and has 3 million vehicles out in the wild. The C3 here, you can pick it up at Best Buy right now. Everything about the C3 Pro screams versatility. Its dual-purpose step-through design allows easy mount and dismount even in a fitted business suit, while providing ample space for its dual battery system. And that dual battery system allows up to 62 miles of range, plus the versatility to ride with one battery while charging the other. That means it's always ready to go when you are. Want to break a sweat? Well, you can if you want in its full manual pedal mode, but you can also use pedal assist for a lighter workout, or use throttle-only propulsion for a ride that is as easy as it is invigorating. Because folks, this thing is fast, up to 28 miles per hour with pedal assist. Like I said, it is a blast to ride on top of being super practical. And it's built to last too. It's got puncture-resistant tires with Kevlar aramid fibers inside, and it's built with this Carbon Gates belt drive that will last 33 times longer than a metal chain. Plus, it won't snag or stain your clothes. And look at the front and rear disc brakes, this killer halo light up front, bright tail light, and all the info you could possibly want about your ride on this bright display. NIU is killing the competition by delivering way more performance and features for a much lower price. Whether you're a daily commuter or a weekend warrior, you need to check out the C3 Pro. Check out the links in the description for more info and an exclusive discount. Thanks again to NIU for sponsoring this portion of our video. So we visited both Disney Studios and the Picture Shop, which is part of Streamland Media, which also owns Technicolor. And the folks at Picture Shop, they do post-production color grading and HDR grading and mastering for some of the biggest hits coming out of Hollywood. As I mentioned before, Maxine Gervais herself was there. She's the preferred, if not the only, grading professional that Clint Eastwood uses, and she did the work on Black Panther, among a ton of other works, too long to list here. Anyway, both Disney and Picture Shop had boxes upon boxes upon boxes of LG OLEDs that it has already deployed and are actively deploying across their companies and workflows. At Disney, we heard about how the LG OLED's perfect black levels, excellent contrast, and color accuracy all contributed to their decision to put LG OLEDs across their production studios. Hell, even in their conference rooms. Because Disney likes consistency and control. LG's OLED TV performance and LG's readiness to work with Disney definitely contributed to that decision. Also, Disney has a vested interest in knowing exactly how its content is going to look when you stream it on Disney+. So they want to look at their content on the best consumer screen that they can. Now, over at the Picture Shop, it was a similar story. The Sony BVM X300 monitors that have been in use for ages are starting to wear out. And rather than replace them with more $30,000 monitors, they are finding that using LG OLEDs both for the mastering work and for the final look as they show it to Hollywood directors just makes more sense. 77-inch G2 OLED TVs were everywhere at this place. Now, was it a bit of a dog and pony show? Absolutely, but it was as convincing as LG had hoped it would be. Here we are in Hollywood, where all the blockbuster stuff is made, and these professionals are using LG OLEDs as a significant part of their workflow. There's no getting around that. So LG is working to capture the consumer and the professional, which for a long time was kind of Sony's purview. Still is, but for how much longer? Anyway, all of this leads up to an interesting preview of what TV reviews and rankings may end up looking like in 2023. I think a lot of folks are just counting on the QD OLEDs to absolutely clean up. And no doubt LG is concerned about that, which is why LG is trying to change the narrative. But LG is not just blowing smoke here. I think the LG G3 and to some extent the C3 OLEDs are going to be extremely competitive this year. And the thing that will be most difficult in 2023 for reviewers, I think, will be weighing the objective measurements we get with the subjective experience of just sitting and enjoying the TV. And all the while, trying to keep in mind what the consumer actually wants, what the consumer actually sees. Because from a subjective standpoint, based on what I've seen so far, LG might just have the popular vote in 2023 locked up. And that's why I think the LG G3 OLED with its MLA tech might be the big disruptor TV in 2023. Thanks as always for watching, everyone. What do you think about all this? The burn-in stuff, the G3 extra brightness. You think the G3 has what it takes to earn the popular vote? Let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and here's 2 other videos that I think you might like.